peace to the gods and the goddesses of the nation, of the land, and of all creation. I hope everybody doing well. Hope you blessed, in a positive mood, and spreading that impact on everyone that you come in contact with. Family, if you hear my fan in the back, please forgive me. But I just had to bring this out because I'm sitting up here looking at First Take, listening to them talk about Nick Cannon. When all of a sudden, let's say I got an epiphany. And to think that Nick Cannon is actually fucking wrong with some of the shit that he was saying. Now, would we say that it's some Jews that have media companies? Yes. And will we also say that it's some Jews that are, let's say, billionaires, rich people, who have power? Yes. Will we say that the white Jews are not the original Jews? Hell no. It's a scientific, theological, simple fact that the Jews that we know today are the original Jews. There was no black Jews beyond 200 to, let's say, matter of fact, I'll give it to, let's say, 500 years ago. Because if you know anything about the Council of Chaldean that was formed inside of the Vatican Church, you know where Jesus was deified as the Savior and the one true God. You know at that point of time is where the Jewish religion and the Arabic religions were being set forth and put out. Let's say about maybe 500 to 600 years ago. So we know for a fact that it's not true when, and I don't even know whether or not Nick Cannon is a Hebrew Israelite. I thought that he was a Moor because he always wearing the fez. But if he's saying that the natural Hebrews, the Jews, are Africans, he's telling you a lie, family, and do not believe it. It is scientific and world history facts that the first Jews was the Turkish and all in the Middle Eastern. They were not in Africa. And here's a big point that I want to get across to y'all, family. How can you let a person who is outside of your community, outside of your habitat and where you're from, being Africa, label you the tribe of Judah and the tribe of all of these, and they came from a whole different place? How can you let somebody characterize you? What happened to the Dogon? What happened to these tribes? What happened to the Pygmies? People who made their own names and had their own tribe names. Not once did you hear in the ancient time them call themselves Judas. Never. Or Hamites. That's something that the Greeks and the Romans and the Arabs planted a name on us. And we, as stupid people, had to accept that and wanted to call ourselves. And now you have black people who don't even know where they come from, who are steady each and every day searching for a religion that is not their own, when in all actuality, if you go deep into the African society, everything was spiritual and with your family and with your heritage. Not once was we sitting up there praying to a monolithic God or attributing a man to a God. We knew that God was a force and a power and was life. Now, if you want to attribute knowledge as in worldly things to men, yes. And then you seen the Africans put that into where how they consider some men with the likeness of a lion, or even with a lamb, or even with a ram, or even with a jackal, or even with a bird, a falcon. It was so many things that we attributed to that was other than what the Hebrew Israelites and all of these other people that searching for their history, when it's right there, are given to you. We were not no Jews. We weren't. How can you take on the form of somebody who said that you looked on the nakedness of your father and you were cursed, and so be it, your children were cursed? How can you believe something that comes from a person who told you your life came from that? When everything that they had to deal with you or tell you about yourself was something that was wrong and not in the real likeness of your true self. The Africans wasn't sitting up there going to war, killing multitudes of people and raping their women. No, that was not the African culture before we came and it was colonized. But the thing about it is, these black men who are in power, such as Nick Cannon and all of the rest of these dudes, they are sitting up here so lost and want to latch on to anything that sound good to them that they ignore their true heritage that's sitting there right in their face. Whether it be Egypt, Central Africa, West Africa, just look to Africa before the colonization. Then you'll know who you are. Then you'll know who you're supposed to be and what your families and your heritage has done. Until then, you are lost just like them. Until next time, family, be safe, man. Be blessed. Peace to the gods and the goddesses, and know who you are. When he said that that they wasn't the real Jews, he was lying. They are the real Jews. They made themselves into history. If you know anything about the Jews, you know that they pushed themselves into history. Nobody knew about them. They made you know about them. Respect them for it. I could care less. Because all I'm concerned about is my history. I'm not latching on to something that somebody else who colonized my land is telling me to believe in. How could you? You only supposed to go off of what you've seen in your natural habitat. How can you go off of something that somebody else brings to you when they haven't even experienced the life that you experienced? How can somebody come tell you about some other stuff and they haven't even been through what you have? That's like me saying, oh, bruh, I don't think you should drive that certain kind of car right there because it ride bad. And I never even been in the car. Never had one. Until then, man, be safe, family, and know who you are. And appreciate who you are, and stop following trends that black men bring to you and who may sound smart, but they ain't smart, and you listen to it. Simple and plain. Be blessed.